everyone, and welcome in. This is nothing but a beautiful sight to see, not just because it's, not a typical trading day and it's almost as if the weekend is still continuing on here because it's a thinly traded day still as the US is basically closed on all fronts. We have the inauguration today, and crypto, after a very volatile swing down yesterday, proves exactly the manipulation that we talk about every single day. And it's actually a fascinating thing when you're on top of it. We've seen the Trump token and the Melania token and these ones crashing crypto. And what ended up happening? Then everybody started swapping their money out from their main utility tokens, switched it into the Trump token and the other ones, and then they crashed 50, 60, 70%. And now we see that we had the lowest of lows that came back into XRP at like $2.82 yesterday. But many overlooked it and thought crypto was just going down under. I was very clear yesterday that even if we went down, we were still very bullish. I talked about the crash before it even happened, saying that Trump was going to crash the crypto market because a lot of money was going into the meme token. Some took that as I hate Trump. I actually like Trump a lot, but I was just calling for what I was seeing it yesterday. And that's in fact what happened. But that doesn't change the fact that this market is super bullish. That if you look at these in the long term, like with algo, look at that massive bull flag, and it's up today. And the crazy thing is we're not really up. Like, yeah, algo's up 16%, but we just dumped it yesterday. Like, literally, that's all we've done. We went from a 49 high back down to a 38 low, and now we're swinging out very volatilely. And what the good thing is we back tested all of these patterns we were seeing. Every single one of these patterns we've been seeing across the board, we are back testing, and now we're breaking off the back test, which is absolutely bullish. And the fact that we dumped down before the inauguration is what I was begging for. Please dump before Trump comes on, because if that dump would have happened after the inauguration started, you would have had a bunch of FOMO to sell. This is exactly what we wanted. This is why I said yesterday as well, leverage is bad. And as long as you're in the spot position, you don't have to worry about those drops. Over $1 billion was liquidated. Joseph, thank you for the $2 donation, says he's in the DGB club. I really love that. But yeah, I mean, it's going to be a fascinating thing. I was going to go live again last night, but as you guys seen, I was having problems with YouTube. So I just let YouTube solve itself. I just stayed away until this morning. And I think everything's working fine. It loaded the way it was supposed to. I'm assuming it's in horizontal since nobody said anything, because I can usually tell if it's going to be in horizontal or vertical. And today I just felt like it was. Someone in this chat yesterday said they sold at the bottom and they were waiting to buy back at 260 or below. Oh, I know. I seen that as well. Somebody sold yesterday. I know they said in the chat, I think it was around $3.20 something, maybe 3.18. Maybe it was a little bit higher. Inexperienced traders worry, sell, make me money. Exactly. And what I ended up doing was I ended up taking advantage of this drop. And some of you know I've been wanting to get into Matic. And now it's Poly on most, or POL on most. Well, you'll find it POL on most exchanges, like on BITUNIX and on Crypto.com. They've already switched over, but it's still Matic. But I took advantage of this, and I got my Matic now on that big dump. Everybody just overzealously panicked yesterday. I couldn't believe how much things were going down. I mean, I could because we were talking about it, but the capital has to go from somewhere. So if Trump token was commanding 10, 20, 30, 40 billion, that's got to come from somewhere. So the money, when it leaves the utility tokens, it's not going to money heaven. It's just going to somewhere that it wants to find a new place. So this came all the way down to 42 cents yesterday. I mean, it was up at almost 50 cents. And it was all the way up at 76, and I was beating myself over the head. So I took a plunge. I said, I want to own this. I believe this is probably finishing its corrective wave already now, and now it's on its way back out. But we'll see. So I did buy some Matic when it was down. I have my allotment that I wanted. So that was something that I was happy to see. And then it quickly reversed like 6% right off the bottom, or 7%. So I took advantage of the moment. I shifted my Axelar when it was up a small percentage. It was a couple $100, and I put that into the spot position on the drop. So now I can at least look at it in a spot position, which just sits there in the bag. And that dropped all the way down there were some fantastic opportunities out here yesterday, especially with XRP too. If you weren't holding, we circled the range here. Anything in this range was a good opportunity for XLR. There's a connection with Ripple, as Kryptonian has told us. So I want to cover this real quick because there is a connection to Ripple. So I always want to make sure I cover this token now. And I've just been adding and adding. I'm well over 10,000 now, so I'm happy about that. Well, not well over, but well, no, I'm not even going to say that now because when I put it into the spot position, it is not because I came off the 3x after. But anyhow, I have what I want here, so I'm paying attention to that. And then there's another one that's having a spectacular drop. And now it's trying to come out. See those two inverted hammers back to back on this massive bull flag on XRP Healthcare? That's about as bullish as you're ever going to see it before a breakout. And if this plays true, I mean, this is going to be... That's just speaking of a... I mean, when you do that in back-to-back candles, that is scary if you're going short on that. I don't know how many people know about technical analysis in my audience, but what do you think of that chart? That is something to be seen. Whew. I don't know the last time I seen an inverted hammer back-to-back like that on a flag like of that size. But yeah, but I'm going to focus a lot on XRP. We'll focus on the inauguration as well to see what we're going to do. But for XRP right now, we're up 12.4%. We've done exactly what we need to do today. Exactly. Like, we've done exactly what we need to do today. And then if you want to look at, this was the short-term target, as you know, up to 341 out of the breakout if you look at it, the pennant. But then we created a short-term pattern here with the consolidation. And up here, we kept speculating whether or not it was this channel. And it ended up turning out that it, in fact, was in a channel. We kept hesitating whether or not it was in a channel or we wanted to go like that. But it, in fact, proved to me, I think, that it was actually in a channel the whole time. And I think you can see it was an overzealous dropout to $2.80. But I think the channel, it ended up proving that it was actually in a channel on this consolidation, which that's a very bullish consolidation. We've speculated that it was creating some kind of, it's hard because it fell out and it came all the way down to 280. Me personally, being a very skeptical and biased person, I was begging it to come down to $2.62 to this fair value gap and just fill it. Because now that's still there. It came so close. I wish it would have just been overzealous and filled it out. But now we can start talking about, well, guys, if this is a real breach, and we already can see this massive flag, and I believe XRP is still the #1 traded cryptocurrency today. But even if you want to take the lower scale, like we've been doing, that's 423. But then the top potential coming out of that pennant flag, I mean the pennant flag is $5.39. This is just a beautiful consolidation. I think we prematurely got pissed at Trump. He was endorsing crypto. I didn't. No. See, that's the other thing. I wasn't pissed at Trump. I was just speaking facts about what was going to happen, that Trump was going to crash the market. You can say all you want about he was prematurely crashing it so people can get in, but the truth is people have been jumping from utility tokens because we're broke, remember? People didn't just find real money that they don't have. So they sold out of their utility tokens, and a majority, as you think that people prematurely got pissed at Trump, no, it's the opposite. People prematurely ran with Trump in that phase of selling their utility token to go buy a quick fad. And now about 75% of the people, maybe 80%, who switched out of their utility tokens too late, they got hammered. They lost about 60%. Now they can't go back into XRP. Most of these people can't go back into their main utility. I was never mad at Trump. I was getting visibly frustrated at the audience because I was trying to make a point about how it was going to crash crypto, and people are telling me that I hate Trump. No, that's not what it was about, you know? So I think we were in two different places yesterday. At least I was in a different place than most. So, and it happened exactly what I was seeing. So I'm not mad about it. I'm actually thrilled that we didn't have any bias because I like Trump, but I didn't have bias. I knew what was going to happen. I didn't sugarcoat it. Some people got upset, but that's okay because that's what makes me me. And you got the factual analysis, non-biased, even though I have personal interest in somebody. So that's how you make money. It doesn't have to sound like I love Trump every second of the day, but I do. because he, at least for 4 years, is going to keep peace amongst our people. But that doesn't mean the government isn't going to expand. It just means we have 4 years, and then in 4 years, it's going to get way worse than it was now, because we're going to have to pay for all the sins of Trump's era, because a lot of people won't. They're going to hold it against Trump now after he gets. You guys understand how this works. It's a power play back and forth. So, that's all I was trying to say. That's all I was trying to say. So, absolutely, I would hold past 540. That's not my sale point. That's just if I seen a scenario where, because the descending wedge, because the descending wedge is the technical target out of it. We have to, all I've been saying is, I'm not saying I'm going to sell, but it's the first area where you look at to see if this cycle is a super cycle or it's something less. If it's a super cycle, then we have to come up to at least 679 and try to deal with that area. So no, the end all be all area should still be a little bit higher, assuming that you're looking for maximum capacity, and that's $6.79 on your money. Now, out of the breakout consolidation, it is showing us that $5.39 for a reason, and that's out of the pennant. Oh, yeah, I just dropped something. Oh, yeah, XCN, like I said, if you're in it, if you just sat through that back test, it's going to do very well for you. If it was on an exchange I could buy it in, I would. But it's not. And I had issues in the past with Kraken on a withdrawal, and it was about $4,000 issue that got resolved after about 2 weeks. But after that, I couldn't trust it anymore. So that's my issue there. But other than that, there's nothing wrong with the JP Morgan token. And it back tested perfectly, and now you gotta keep your emotion out of it and just let it ride. Let it go where you want. But I gave a beautiful analysis on that, but I got other things to focus on. In time, I'll be covering that more again. I'll keep covering it, but I just had to let things die down with a few unbearable people, and then those people leave, and then we get back to our community. So, with that being said, good morning. 10:07 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on this Monday, January 20th, 2025. I'm XRP Future Millionaire with the side bet on XLM and Future Digibyte OG. And the other thing is yesterday, as you guys know, we were going not in the upward direction, but I added 100,000 more DGB, so I'm very happy with that decision. I'm very happy with the fact that most of you seem to understand what was going on yesterday, as far as it's not that, Trump's a bad guy and all. It's just that money had to come from somewhere. So we were anticipating a big correction yesterday because so much money went into the Trump meme tokens. And it was the Trump token and the Melania token and all these other tokens, the Eric Trump token. Like, it's just a big distribution of wealth right now. So, but to who? Not to us. Utility got driven away. But the good news is if you understood that wasn't a ploy to crash crypto, but in fact, what we were thinking in a conspiracy was a ploy for not just Trump, but some of the other ones within the staff to get into utility tokens now that they're going to be pushing that technology. Remember, the government always finds a way in. I believe that might have been a way in for not just some in the Trump administration, some that are on the team, and some that might be around the table with Ripple now. I think that was a strategic way to flow capital from one avenue to the next. Obviously, though, when you have a big market cap like that, and it comes down the way it did, somebody's got to be at the brunt of it. And that's you or me if we're in that, taking our utility and going to a meme. Somebody has to pay the piper, and it's not Trump. It's not any of the rich. It comes on the backs of the poor that are trying to make a quick buck. Just remember that. Just remember that. That's all I'm saying. And I believe Trump now is going to be a big backer of all of this, but they had to find an entry into some of this because 8 years ago, Trump didn't like crypto. So he strategically found his way in through the Biden. I'm telling you, Trump is not a dummy. And like, you guys might have took it a certain way yesterday, but Julie knows I'm a big fan of Trump before he was ever president. Like, he taught me a lot of things. So I'm just trying to play 4 and 5D chess with my audience and myself so I can stay ahead of what was going on. Otherwise, if I wouldn't have thought that way yesterday and the market was crashing like that, I said, uh-oh. But I could see what was happening. Money has to pull from somewhere to push another asset. And in this case, that asset was the meme class. So, you know, it's not from a standpoint of hate. This is actually a standpoint of neutrality and love. Because the more information we know, the more prosperous we can be. I do not have Trump or Melania meme. I tend to stay away from the fads only because I was offered to promote the Trump token, so I could see maybe something might not stand the test of time, let's just say. I got offered a certain amount of tokens to... I was very transparent with it when it was much cheaper than it ended up going. And I just said that, you know, they offered influencers a certain amount to push the Trump token on certain exchanges. And I could have got an X amount, and it would have turned out to probably be close to 75,000 at the top if I would have sold. So you can do the math of X amount. It was anywhere between 8 and 14,000 tokens, depending on what you were willing to say, how you were willing to promote it, what you were showing on how to buy it, and things like that. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just I don't like blood money, so then I won't. Then I don't invest in those things that offer me that stuff. Because why would I invest if I could get it for free? So you do the math. Why I get irritated sometimes. So anyhow, this big channel that was formed very nicely. If this breaks out, very big potential. And it looks like we're going to be on a 5 wave. It looks like we're going to be on a 5 wave. It's just like how I used to say with the GOAT token. You see all the influencers, you know when they're getting paid by tokens because they all switch to the same topic. It just for your own sanity, just if you ever see something like that, just look through cryptocurrency, look through social media and see who's talking about it. Same people will talk about the same tokens at the same time because they're getting paid the same amount, X amount. And then they sell it at the same time. GOAT token, nobody ever talks about anymore, do they? I wonder what it's at now. Do they have any kind of recovery? I always am fascinated by this one because my whole audience would not stop talking about this because every influencer was talking about it. In fact, many in my audience sold their XRP at 50-something cents. This rode up to $1.15, and then they watched XRP. Where are we at now? $3.34. Wow. What was it? Oh, yeah, the GOAT token. That's what I talk about, liquidity. And that's why I said they offered me 100,000 GOAT token to promote this junk. And now look. Now everybody's a bag holder, except if I was promoting it, I would have, what, a 6-figure return while you guys have 99% of your life savings gone in crypto. Like, that's what I mean. Money has to go from one person to the next. So all these people you watch because they got fancy boats and fancy houses and all that, that's all stolen from you. Capital has to go from somewhere. I certainly don't want it to come from you. I want to spread the wealth. Like, that's the only way. Yeah, it's cold here. It's very, very cold. It's not minus 37. Tomorrow it's right now it's about 7 degrees. That's it. It's only 7 degrees.
-6.
Yeah, it feels like -9 it says. Oh, 8 and -6 it feels. But tonight it's going to be -6, which should be fun. Let's see. Yeah. Is it a 5th wave into a 3rd? Well, it's in the overall. Okay, so it was a 3 move up, 3 move down within the last corrective and the last wave. But technically, we would be going into a 5th wave. A 5th wheel rate. A 5th wave here, which is the final wave, which is supposedly not allowed to be greater than the 1st, but can't be smaller than the 3rd. So if you look at that, corrective wave up, back down. It just depends if you're breaking it into small. You can also break it into the smaller 3-wave theory. Like we have 3 waves up, 3 waves down. We just finished a 3-wave down corrective phase. And now we have the final and 3rd wave on the wave up. So, I mean, you can look at it either way. Some people are breaking it down into smaller. I'm looking at the macro. Like that this is a 5 wave. And right now this should be the 5th wave. Oh, I believe it. 29 in snow and no, they're closing every. Yeah, see, in the U.S. in Michigan, we don't really worry about it's got to be a certain amount. Like we got to have a certain amount of snow.
-23 to close school.
Yeah, we have to be -20. Is that wind chill? Yeah. We have to be -23 wind chill to close school. I mean, it might be close on Tuesday, Julie, depending on how windy it is. That could be really close. No, Frankie, that's not his intent. I'm sorry, but that's not true. If his intention was to introduce it to the world, why would you rug pull most of the people that just sold out of their hard-earned utility tokens? That doesn't even make sense. So you're going to introduce it to the world. No, it's a transformation of wealth. It's exactly what I said. Yeah, you can make a lot of money on the meme tokens, but if you don't buy and sell at the right time, you're going to lose everything you traded in from. I watched an influencer was up $400,000 yesterday on the Trump token when he went to bed. When he woke up, he lost $380,000. He decided to ride it more, and then it ended up coming down another like 25%. He panicked, sold out, just see it go back up to, what is it, 40 something, $50 right now. And now he's panicked. There's all these influencers that did that, but I don't believe his panic. I think that he was actually a paid actor, and he's acting like he fell on the sword with the rest of his audience, because I can tell true intention from fake. That was faker than I've never seen somebody so happy who supposedly just lost, $400,000 to $500,000. So yeah, there's people that will act like they're falling on the sword, and that's the worst kind of actor. That's the one who acts like they have their best interests at heart for their audience, and then they are laughing all the way to the bank as you fall on the sword. I hate that. But anyhow, that's the reality of the crypto sphere we're in right now. People are trying to make easy money, and it's going to be, you got to have that fundamental understanding of what you're looking for. I'm not wavering. This doesn't bother me what just happened. I know we need corrections, and I'm very happy. I wish it would have went to 260. I'll be honest. I wish it would have went to 260. Why come down 17% if you could have just come all the way back down 23? Just come down to last 6%. Fuck. We just sat there. Just come down 6% more and fill that gap. That's all I wanted. Because now I have to sit here and say, well, we still have that gap at $2.60. But they're not always, they don't always. They won't always. That's what I'm saying, Crow. Newbies won't know when to sell them. That's what I'm saying, because now everybody's taking verbatim that that's the next big token. I see it everywhere. Look at TikTok. Look at everything. By the way, did you notice TikTok? It's like Facebook now. I don't know if anybody on here uses TikTok. That's just how I call it, because I have 25,000 subscribers on there already somehow. And all I do is bash it. But did you notice it looks exactly like Facebook Reels now? And the way it reacts, the way the comments are, the way that the ads are. It's so weird. All social media is starting to look the same. It really is. I think that was the reason they shut it down, so Meta could take over. They secretly switched over the servers. I'm serious. I think that's what's happened. It doesn't so much make me nervous about YouTube because it's kind of a bigger entity. And it's got the backing of Google and Alphabet and all that kind of stuff. But still, man, something seems weird about all of this. It's like, but anyhow, so what should the attention be on right now? Is the attention, well, XRP's up 12% on the day, or is the attention the fact that, hey, we started to push out of this, and I could argue, and I haven't argued this yet, but would you guys be open to the possibility that maybe this is what was happening? I'm throwing something out there, because I threw this scenario around myself yesterday when we had this consolidation, and just hear me out. If that's what we're looking at, we had the perfect back test. It's almost like, I don't want to say a megaphone pattern. I don't know, it kind of looks, because we seen one of these before Bitcoin ever broke out. I don't know if that's a megaphone. I never even thought about that until yesterday, and then I had this exact same thought, like, exactly, see, that's what I was saying, or hey, it looks like a megaphone. And if that's the case, these are super bullish. I mean, guys, I can't even explain to you how bullish XRP is if that's what's happened. Because that's what I think, and I was debating it yesterday. We debated it here. Well, I kept calling it that channel, but no, that short-term target is 340. But if this is a megaphone and that pennant flag plays true, and the megaphone would be this would be a confirmation. The megaphone pattern would be a confirmation of that pennant flag breakout, which should confirm our pattern up to $5.39, but we're going to have stops along the way. There's no doubt about that. My God. Oh, man. Because you can look, I mean, that looks like a megaphone pattern to me. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. Because a bullish megaphone are super bull. I mean, this is super freaking bullish. And that massive, oh my God. The fact it created this, a megaphone, woo, that ups the ante. The short-term pivot point is $3.40, but now you're looking at a short-term move out of 373. And then in totality, remember, if this entirety of this plays out, whoo, whoa. Let's go back to the pennant flag real quick, okay? There's a reason why I use so many charts so that I can do this. Where's my other pennant flag? Don't tell me I deleted the pennant flag. That's fine. It's, oh no, it's farther down, duh. See the pennant flag? I kept it on this chart just so we could keep referencing it. The technical, look how beautiful that looks. Oh my God. If you weren't excited before this live, you should be super excited right now. This is the short-term breakout. That's just the short-term out of the flag. But now, the flag is just the short-term. Now you got to measure the pole. And that is the big pole. And like I said, you can measure it from the breakout point of the flag, or you can do it as more conventional wisdom says. You get on top of the pennant flag, and then you measure it from the breakout point of the cycle high, kind of like how you do a cup and handle, which, remember, we just spoke of a cup and handle, right? This is where it gets and look at where that target is. You can't make that up because that's right at the target out of the descending wedge. Now, if you want this to get crazier, oh, we can make it crazier. It's something we made light of a very long time ago and we look dumb. I keep this chart on for a reason as well. Remember when we made the W when it was down on the market cap and XRP was down about 52 cents and we said, what if this is making a all-time W and it's the biggest W we have ever seen? Well, the fact that it did that and built a handle right there, now we don't have to say, we don't have to guess now, right? What if, because now you have to measure the cup. That's why I have that. It looks like we're going up to 247 billion in market cap. And when we put this out here, XRP was nowhere near where it's at. And the fact it followed it, I'm like, well, I guess I have to measure the depth now. And I've had this drawn out thinking it was going to take a little. My God. You know, and that's the thing. Like somebody said, it's an emotional thing. Not getting emotional is a razor's edge. I do real well until I don't. Yesterday was like, what the fuck? Exactly. But it shouldn't have been. It should be, but it shouldn't have been. Yesterday Julie probably seen somebody who was down, who lost, you know, just because your portfolio's down. I don't even look, but I could see what was happening with the meme pumps. And like I said, it happens in commodities all the time. Commodities will pull out and go to risk assets. And then it finds its way back in. Like First Majestic, like you don't know when it's going to happen. But all of a sudden here, First Majestic is just starting to surge here in the last couple of days. And it reversed from 540. Now it's, I don't know if these are starting to reverse, like the course of the markets are starting to turn a little bit. But like right now I'm excited. But I'm waiting for that next shoe to drop to the top side. I'm waiting. Because right now all we've done is we've recovered the losses. And we've back tested what we needed to. It's a beautiful thing. If XRP went up to 247 billion, it puts XRP about $5.39. I saw that big W on the chart, but at what dollar target do you have it? Oh, they have different layers. That first target, I mean, if you want to get into the nitty gritty right now, we can. Does anybody want to get into the, like, that's how you start to get up towards that $6.79. That's why at 52 cents when I was saying $6.79 is actually the target if this creates that big W. People are like, what? No, there's no way. There's no way this is going to $6.07. And that's just, but what if we get on top of it? See, I think that's what everybody wants to know. I don't know that until we get there. But remember how we had the initial target to 222, then we created the pennant flag, and now all of a sudden we have a target to 539? You could have an equally big moment as it keeps compounding itself up. So let's just see how we react at 539. So 420, well, actually 373, 420, 539, and ultimately 679. Let's see how we react at $6.79. Let's not get overzealous. And let's just take this step by step like we do. I don't know, because I said if we had a big drop before the inauguration, that could essentially wipe out the fears of a drop during the inauguration itself. There's a very strong case to be made that that drop here was what everybody was worried about. And it happened prior to the inauguration. So for that, I am thankful for the meme tokens from Trump, as got missed yesterday, because we can have the drop we need. I would rather it drop than go up yesterday, because if it was pumping going right into it, we're screwed. But the fact we dropped down, now people are going to say, hey, well, we're pumping going into the inauguration. Isn't this a buy the rumor, sell the news? I've never seen a buy the rumor, sell the news where it sold the news the day before, then pumped into the news. Or for the week prior, they sold the news. No, what it did was it made it look like a buy the rumor, sell the news. And I fully believe that these patterns are super bullish. That megaphone is super bullish. Everything else I see is super bullish. Everything else I see has inverse head and shoulders, cup and handles. All these are all inverse patterns that are starting to play out. Channels that were falling. This is the nitty freaking gritty here. No, it's not too, well, I can't. I got 3 kids here. Otherwise, no, it would not be. No, it would not be. But I can't do it. Not right now. I wish I could. But man, oh man. And then like my son's off of school today. You know, everything's closed here because of all the stuff. And it's just like, it's a perfect day for me to come on and do a live leading into the inauguration. Now, 89 people have hit that like button. Almost 300 people watching. Make sure to hit that like button so we can spread this information around YouTube. I really, really would appreciate it. Frankie said, what was Frankie's question? I'm going to have to get my phone out. I'm going to have. I need to see what Frankie said. But I also want to read through the crypto liquidations as well. The heat signature map, the heat liquidation map. Man, oh man. It's been dead on the money. Dead on the money. Even took out 108K like we were saying. It's insane. And it also went down to 89. We were talking about at some point just starting a trading community like in a copy setting to where we only base it on liquidation sides of the map. But then I was like, no. No, he is definitely supposed to sign some stuff. Could you imagine? It all depends. If Trump's up there and he actually brings up XRP, this thing would go ballistic. You know that, don't you? Where was Frankie's question? Is it too... Oh, yeah. That was Frankie's question. Duh. The Cannabis Podcast, welcome in, friend. Tom, will you do the gritty if XRP goes to $5? Oh, you never know. You never know. If XRP goes to 100, I just might. I may do, I don't know. Yeah. $5 doesn't necessarily excite me because I know that's a cycle area top if it doesn't push past at 539. But then again, I don't think that is a cycle top because that all-time W form, that overtakes the descending wedge now. The targets just keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. But I try not to look too forward without showing too much. But you always see the upper targets until we get close, then I'll release the other ones that are potential. But I always like to take it from cycle to cycle to cycle because then you don't over analyze your own profits and you don't get deterred by the fact, oh, we're only up 650%, but the max goal is 3,000%. You know, you don't want to do that. That's what you don't want to do. You just want to take this for what it is. And we're going to take this for what it is because yesterday people got beaten up. Crypto liquidations did top 1 billion. It did top 1 billion. So crypto liquidations hits one, and that was 12 hours ago, hit 1 billion over 24 hours as Bitcoin plummets. More than 400,000 traders were liquidated over the past 24 hours as Bitcoin plunged back below 100,000. Crypto market liquidations over the last 24 hours have reached over 1 billion as Bitcoin briefly fell back below 100,000 after reaching nearly all-time highs. CoinGlass shows that in the past day, 1.18 billion has been liquidated from nearly 406,000 traders, split between around 921 million in long liquidations and 260 million in short liquidations. Bitcoin lost more than 6% in a fall from its intraday high of 106,300 to around 99,700. And the bullshit part for everybody doing this liquidation is Bitcoin's back over that 106,300 right now. So it was a mere move to grab liquidity because in no move up or down, liquidity must be pulled from one side or the other, if not both, in a simultaneous swing. And that's exactly what happened. I think we're at a stage this cycle where it would be prudent to take some chips off the table, they added. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Altcoins are a sea of red. Well, it depends. That in a sense of, are you taking profits because you're paying yourself back? Then it's not dumb. But if you're just taking chips off the table because you're afraid you're not watching the Elliott wave. Altcoins were a sea of red at the time of writing, with Ethereum falling more than 5% to an intraday low of 3,150. Ether does, however, remain within its month-long range-bound channel, having failed. And we don't need to read the rest of that. I just wanted to talk about those liquidations. Let's see. But I want to go into, what is this? I don't even care. But Bill Gates had a dinner with Trump about health and stuff. So hopefully some things are going to change a little bit, but don't count on it. The heat liquidation map. And then I want to go into the XR. There's one other one that I really like, the XRP liquid. It's not a heat liquidation map because you can't get one on XRP like this. Even if you type it in, it just goes like a coin analyze or coin arc. And then you just see stuff like this. It's not the same with XRP if you're wondering. But we'll get into the XRP liquidations as well. Does that look bad to you? Or does that look like a massive flag for Bitcoin on a huge V-shaped recovery, back testing the V-shaped recovery? I'm just asking my audience. Do you think that is bearish? Or do you think that's a massive V-shaped recovery that back tested the breakout of the V-shape, which we knew was back testing? I'm just saying, not even looking any deeper. Let's go into my chart real quick on Bitcoin. Remember, rising broadening wedge that formed symmetrical triangle. Very bullish, super bullish, broke outside of the rising broadening wedge, or was within. We identified a very long time ago that this was a symmetrical triangle, and my target was what? 112,000 was first target. We broke out after identifying it. It took a few days, maybe a week or two. And then it broke out, back tested the breakout, and confirmed the symmetrical triangle, which we already knew because resistance, 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 support, 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 symmetrical, it's symmetrical. That's what it is. And then even if it's bearish, it could come all the way up to the cycle resistance. That's the technical target off of that cup and handle for Bitcoin was 122K. So until that happens, I don't even have to worry about it. Now, could it be a cycle top? Maybe a big cup? I don't know. But that's when you would worry about it. So within this, we shouldn't have been worried. If it broke down, who cares? And went to 74, then bounces back up because the cycle pattern was not finished. So I'm not worried about this. I just have to talk in the sense of, well, this was a rising broadening wedge. We have no hope in sight. Then when this hit happened, I'm like, oh, right. Now we're good. Now we have a symmetrical triangle. Now we come back to test the support, come back up, confirm the pattern, breakout, back test. Now we're up. It sounds stupid when you say it, but now that it's actually played out and people watch it in real time as you called it before it happened, that gains you a little bit of credibility, but at the same time, people want more. So they want to see the full breakout. Can it really come to 112 or possibly 122? And then if it comes to 122, most would eat their shorts because they would say, how the hell could we call this from 32,000 all the way up or 52 or wherever the hell it was at? I don't even know anymore. So that's just basically how it goes. And then people are saying, well, you're saying it's going to go up and down. Well, that's not true. I'm saying the pattern, and it does have to go up and down. Like somebody said, up, down, left, and right. It's a trading bot. If you understand the trading bots and take your emotion out of it, was that drop emotional or was it needed? It was absolutely needed. Oh, and look how perfectly it hit it. You can't make that up. You didn't think, if people don't think there's no trading bots, they're just not paying attention. Now we have to rework our pattern technical target. which is still the same. So XRP running on house money at Tom. Thank you for suggesting. Absolutely. And that's the easiest thing you can do. That's why I always buy more tokens than what I always want to hold, because then when it hits a certain 4, 5, 6, 7x, you take your whatever you want back, your 1x that you put in, and then you still got 6x of a return. And as long as you accounted for it before you started, the process of accumulating, then when you sell out, you have the tokens you initially wanted. You just happen to buy more. And now you got a big stack that you can put towards more. That's what I do. I love it. But we need to see how this card plays out. Mods, tell Tom how to see XRP liquidation map. I mean, I've looked at all the liquidation maps, and the XRP liquidation map never comes up. They want you to pay for it. I've said it a million times. That's my problem. Unless there's another chart, because I have seen other people suggest it, but every time I go to it, it doesn't work. Let me see. I'll go back up to the top. Model 2 symbol XRP. So, okay. Hold on. Let's see. Let's see. Where was that at? Damn it, I just seen where that was at. Somebody literally just said how to do that. Oh, here we go. All right. So that was coin glass. Oops. I can figure it out with those instructions. And then it says, what did this say? Model 2. Well, how's Model 2? I don't even know where Model 2's at. That's my problem. I don't know why I can never, for some reason, unless it's up here. No. Oh, are you talking about this? No, because this isn't it. This is the total liquidations. I was, what the hell is this stupid? 24-hour liquidations. Funding, open interest journal. Great job finding the one reference of Beatborn, and I caught your late night stream on that, and the very next day every other. Yeah, that's where I got criticism, because I posted about it in a live, but then I actually did an update video as well later, and then people are like, "Oh, you're just seeing what everybody." No, I actually talked about it in a live. I also heard other people talk about it too. I'm not a genius, things get put together, but yeah, I'm glad that you referenced the fact that it was in a live first. Very next day, every other YouTuber was posting about it like they. Yes, indeed. A lot of people did. That's what I'm saying. I wasn't the only person, but I do relish in the fact that other people seen it. That's what I need. I need to get validation. I don't know. I'm just an idiot. Apparently, I can't figure. I don't know how to find what you're talking about. I don't see no V2 on here. I'm just an idiot, like I said. So I don't know, unless it's under. I don't know. Liquidate. Oh yeah, duh. Oh, here we go. Thank you. Oh, Model 2. That's what I was trying to find. That's Binance. Well, why is it Bitcoin again? Well, I need to get off of Bitcoin. Alright, there we go. Good. Good, good, good. This is what would never load before. I've had this up. Somebody tried to walk us through this like 2 months ago and it would never load on my screen. Maybe it was just because my tablet, maybe my other tablet was having issues. I don't know. But I'm glad to see that I can use this, that's for sure. Oh, it's got to be Model 2. I was going to say that doesn't look right. Yeah, much better. I was going to say that's much better. Thank God. All right. So, short traders right now on XRP. Oh, this is back to Bitcoin. What the... I forgot I have to switch it every time. No, not Ethereum. I like it from the monthly. I just like to see everything that built. Well, we can go a little bit lower on XRP. Let's try to find the sweet spot here. Let's go to 2 weeks. Oh, we got tons of liquidity. Holy smokes. Short traders will get wiped on XRP. Oh my goodness. Look at all that liquidity. 500 billion at $3.40. Oh, we're definitely taking a ride to some of these liquidity zones. Oh my God. There's that much liquidity down here again already? Jeez, those Louise. That's not, that is what it is. Let's do this in the, because we came up here before. Let's take this, we got to take this into like the monthly. Only because we came down, now we're breaking back up. So there is definitely a lot more liquidity being created in the shorter time frames. To the top side for sure. You've got a big zone we're about to come through right now. We're definitely going to come through a zone right now. That is for sure. That is for sure. Maybe the 2 week is the best way to look at it on this one. We're definitely coming through there though. That's a big area down here, though. That's glaring. $2.28. There's a massive area. But that's way down. That's the breakdown area. So now you start to look up and onward. I mean, this is taking out a bunch of zones. It looks super bullish to me. It looks like a megaphone just looking at it within the heat liquidation map as well. That looks like a standard classic megaphone. These are so bullish. It almost looks like it's getting ready to erupt. Oh yeah, the brighter the color, you're definitely getting more liquidated. So the heat, like these heat liquidation maps, that number, like when we come up here, it says 385 million. That means anybody who's on leverage going short, if the price hit $3.37, there's $385 billion that gets liquidated from XRP leverage traders going short. That's what that means. Now, if you come down here and at, like, let's say, look at this massive green area, right? There's 448 million, I mean a billion at $2.30. That would mean that long traders have leverage taken out, and until it comes down to $2.30, there's 448 billion, and just that number alone would get liquidated. And that happens all across, and yesterday in crypto there was over $1 billion liquidated. So that's how the XRP liquidation map looks. So there's definitely some to come grab. $3.40 is a big one to me. 501 billion gets liquidated at $3.40. So that's a big thing. That's a big thing. And then just to kind of show a little perspective here, because this is one of my favorite things to look at, because we can see the open interest. There's a 33.69% spike in the future side. 3% less on the perpetual, but there was a 3.2 billion in open interest on XRP. Bybit was leading the way, and these are just a few exchanges. These aren't all of them. Funding rates all positive. They're all in the right range right now. They're not too high to scare people away. But this is what I like to see. There's two things. I like the liquidations, you know, from a few of the exchanges, and then I like the long-short ratio. So we can kind of see where, you know, the technical trader's sitting. So 27.6 million was liquidated the last 24 hours off of these small exchanges. And then you can see how it divvied up long to short. It was about 3-to-1 long to short ratio on liquidations. And then the long to short ratio right now, which I think is important when you start looking at some of the bigger exchanges. And this is aggregated. So ratio is 2.11 to 1. So 67.8% in the 5-minute are going long. 32% are going short. Now let's take it out in the longer time frame. In the 4-hour time frame, 68.58% of people that are leverage trading today are going long. 31.4% are going short. Great balance. A lot of money to be liquidated from the shorts to continue to move up. And the daily, 70% are going long and 29.95% are going short. That's still almost a 30% ratio of loss there. So, I mean, it tends to be trending in the other direction right now towards the top. The heat liquidation map on Bitcoin. And this is my favorite map. I wish I could have this exactly like this with XRP. This is just my favorite one to analyze just because of the way it looks. No, I don't want to go to 3 months. Whoops. We'll go back to the 1 month. But we've come through these areas, guys. Wow, we hit 110. When did we hit 110? That happened while we were live? It must have. I don't remember it hitting 110. It came down, but damn. Now we took out all that liquidation. Okay. Well, I think we need to go back to the chart. Because once Bitcoin took out that 110, I didn't know that. Yeah, I didn't even... Oh, yeah, that was earlier. What am I talking about? 3-hour reversal candle, but this... We'll see what happens here. No, I don't pay for anything. Nope. I'd rather just look at my trading view with one indicator because I believe the indicators get you stuck up anyhow. You know, I believe it sticks you up anyhow. You need to... And this is fine. We were creating a gap here that, believe it or not, we came back and filled real quick. So there's no gap left here anywhere on the way up. So if this is meant to go up, we filled this short-term gap. It's going to be so volatile today, though. That's the thing. It's going to be super volatile. Tell my brain connect the causality on the XRP heat map. What would happen to the XRP price if the lower priced large liquidity pool was liquidated? Oh, if you liquidated that lower pool and it actually liquidated it and we were still on a bullish, yeah, it would basically use that as fuel, like rocket fuel, to get out of these areas. If it's meant to stay bullish, they use those liquidation areas to fuel the push up. Or if it's meant to come down, they take the higher liquidation to cause a big flash drop. Because either way, it'll unbalance the market. So if there's too many leverage traders going long getting liquidated, it'll force a continuation. That just happens because you're going to cover yourself or whatever the case may be. You're going to hedge your bets in different ways. But when that liquidation happens, it causes volatility from one direction to the next. But yeah, it definitely gives you directions. That's 100% true. It's just, I would rather, instead of using an indicator on the chart, I would rather use a heat liquidation map to be my indicator. But yeah, it gives you a decisive decision. Listen, guys, if you're asking me to add to XRP at $3.27 when we're 10x, I would never in good faith tell you to, we're like 10x right now. No. Unless you haven't bought and you have a fundamental understanding, because the only reason you'd be buying at $3.27 is FOMO. Because it was sitting there for almost 2 years at, you know, sub 50 cents or around 50 cents. Like, that's why, if you want to buy it here, I'm not a financial advisor, nor do I pretend to be one, nor do I ever want to become one. So like, for me, everybody else is going to tell you to buy it, but you have to be very, very understanding of what you're doing at this point. You know, there's still a big gap at 260, so But I'm trying to stay on the straight and narrow today. I'm not trying to look at all these different tokens. Yesterday, I looked at about 71 different tokens and my brain went haywire. You know, if you want me to cover something outside of the ordinary, join Tom's Army. You know, send a little donation to get my attention. But everybody who keeps throwing out all these different tokens, I would love to go through everything. But you got to understand, when I go through 170 tokens in a live, my brain goes, and then it makes me want to stay away for a lot of the day, only because you can only grab so much stuff. And I'm throwing, I have all the information. There's no doubt about that. But, you know, sometimes it's a little much. So I at least have an understanding like what I'm doing and the fact that I am doing this for free. So don't make my mind go explosive when it's not necessary yet. If you catch my drift. And usually when I say that, it'll stop the questions because most people don't want to send a donation, which is fair. But at least it stops all the comments about different tokens. Quan is still, I think it's in a not so bad spot. I'm going to kick myself for a long time for not buying it down here because I had charted this out for like 2 years in advance and waited for this to actually play out since 22. And then when it did, I screwed it up because I wasn't paying attention to it because I had too many other things I was watching. And now it absolutely came down here where I wanted it. I think in time this plays out to $337. I think it's going to overtake AVE in time. I really do. I do. So I think this is, if it wasn't at $102 like the last time, if it was down at $50, I would buy this. If it was down at 60, I would buy it, I think. If it would have back tested 80, I might have. But I know there's a gap there, so unless it fills it, there's no reason to just deep dive unless it's going to come down another 20% to fill that. And then I could be like, you know, I could justify it with the move here possibly. Guys, just pay attention, watch the video multiple times, try to learn what he's doing, then go do it yourself. Exactly. But there's a reason why I put all this out for free, because I want everybody to be able to do exactly what I'm doing. I'm just being honest. I say it all the time. Say it all the time. If some of you are new, if you're trying to find a way to trade, and we'll go over XLM before I leave too, we'll look at DGB. But if you're looking, no matter what, this would probably be a good time to understand how to use the exchanges. Try to find different avenues. Like I also have a no KYC exchange, and that's why I use BITUNIX. So you can send stuff from your exchanges that charge a high fee, send your crypto over there, then sell it, and then you can send it back in Tether or even USD, so that if you want to put it in your bank account, but don't sell it on the high exchanges for the fees. BITUNIX has the lowest spot in leverage trading and lowest maker taker. So whether you're trading leverage or spot, it's the cheapest I can find. I oftentimes send over things, sell it out, and then resend my funds back to the other exchange. That's just what I've been doing since last April now. Once I found out about BITUNIX and the fact they never went away in the trying time for XRP, it was a no-brainer. They have many different cryptos, tons of crypto, XRP, just a slew of them. HOTCOIN, little higher fees, but they have XDC, IOTA, VELO, and a couple others that are harder to find. Crypto.com, I love them for the crypto Visa debit card, but as I've said, I don't necessarily buy all my stuff there or sell it there. I send it off the exchange and then resend it there to lock it up a little bit. That's all I do. But I'm not going to sell it there. I'll send it off the exchange and sell it somewhere else, as long as I can send it out. And there's a lot of ways to do that. If you want to send a donation, Cash App, Venmo, PayPal, whatever, no, that's not even necessary. I'll bank for XRP Healthcare USA, app only. And then I wrote this in the community, so if you want to get a better understanding of why I do what I do, somebody said, I appreciate the way you build wealth. You don't want to take it off the backs of your viewers. And then, like, I did write why I do what I do. But yeah, it's just something that I do what I do. I just said integrity, honor, and humility pride my decisions. Faith, compassion, and divine intervention have kept me looking out for my community's best interests above my own financial gain. To start, it's a losing business model. It is much harder to gain a true following, but if achieved, now I just meant it's harder to do that if you're not taking sponsorships and the handouts and letting YouTube basically force your channel to the top. The transformation of thousands, if not millions, out of the slums and into a place we don't belong. I want to stand on the mountaintop with anyone anywhere who is truly trying to transform not just themselves, but humanity as a whole for generations to come. I don't want to stand atop a mountaintop alone. I would rather do it with everyone who truly wants it for the right reason. And for that, it has to stay free 100% of the time. So anyone anywhere can learn if they truly want without being forced to pay for the very knowledge they crave. And ultimately for historical data. So no one can say to this community, why didn't you get the word out, or why did you charge so much for the life-changing info and knowledge? As I said in April of 2021 to my at the time 50 followers, this is how it has to be. And no matter if I have 10, 20, 30, 50, or 100,000 subscribers, the message remains the same, and it must. When I prayed for this in my 20s, I promised God himself that I would help as many as possible for as free as long as I could, make a living for my family before I started the process. And as I explained, I didn't even know what that meant at the time. I didn't even start dating Julie until I was 31. Sorry for the long message, but this is why I do what I do. That is why I do what I do, and that's why I have the principles I have, and why I don't charge for what I do. It's just that simple. I do things for a little different reason than most people you watch. So you might think that that's just some BS, or some might take that to heart. I expect you to take it to heart because that was coming from my heart. So with that being said, let's get through this, the last part of this, because I do have to go. XLM's at 46.2 cents. 46.2 cents. It's up 7%. It doesn't have to do anything. Look at that gigantic bull flag. It's going to break out when it wants. But look at the all-time. Look at that all-time chart. That's what it's about. You know, that's huge. And that very well could bring us up to that $1 plus range. The actual overall target on XLM is around $1.17. There's going to be obstacles along the way, but if it plays true and that massive flag plays out, that bull flag, that's where we're going. I love you guys too. I really appreciate it. Thank you for listening to that. I do appreciate it. But XLM, if it breaks out of here, it's massive. First target 64, and then end time is $1.17 if it plays to its true potential. And then DGB. So don't overrun it. Just let it do what it's got to do. DGB is much of the same. Massive pattern. Whoops. Massive pattern. Massive pattern. And it looks like it's... I bought 100,000 more DGB yesterday when it was dropping, as you guys know. So, I'm full in on that DGB. I have 1.1 million DGB right now. Yes, it's lower than where it's at because I started buying at 004, but let that remain the fact that I was willing to buy on that drop. So, I'm obviously not minding it in this area. So, have a blessed day, everybody. I'm going to go deal with the family. Thank you all so much, and we'll get together soon with the